Day. We are live. We are live. We are live. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. My name is George Chuck, and we are here. We'll be talking understanding American democracy once again this week. We are preparing for Election Day, and we want you guys to get ready with us. So make sure that you verify your voter registration status. Make sure you have a plan for Election Day, and we're going to go through exactly what it means to be ready for Election Day and how we get ready for Election Day. But to get into some things tonight, we want to make sure that we give a shout out to Money Moves, a real talk on investing and financial literacy for Black entrepreneurs. It's a panel discussion and networking event you don't want to miss. This event is in celebration of the Congressional Black Caucus 53rd Annual Legislative Conference and is proudly brought to you by Bob Technologies, Invesco QQQ, and Lack of No Chaser. You can get the RSVP in the comment or in the description of this video. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, it's time for Nightcap Knowledge. So far away. What? Hey man, everybody see his whole background. Everybody man. See his whole background. What's up, bro?
I got you, man. I'm trying to get situated.
I see you trying to get situated.
Now I think I'm ready. I think eyes ready. It's better.
All right. So you good to go? How you feeling?
Feel pretty good. Hey, let me show you how I'm feeling.
Oh, that's at Travelers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What kind of notes should I expect when I'm sipping on Travelers?
Well, sir, let's go through this. Oh, excuse me, everybody. Welcome to Nightcap Knowledge. This show is rated Black and Uncensored. Real talk, real issues, real solutions. We're gonna tell like a TI is, and then we do shit like this. Sample alcohol.
Yeah, I'm alcohol less tonight. We came straight in off the field.
Oh, so no. Okay. Well, you might
enjoy yourself.
I'm just gonna sample. You might need some Gatorade.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. We got CJ hanging out over here with us too. We ain't have time to set up a microphone, so he's over there.
What up, CJ?
What's up, brother?
Can you hear him? Because the microphone, did you hear him? You heard him a little bit?
I did.
Yeah. All right. Good deal. So Mac, I know it's a Tuesday. It's the DJ Mix Maestro said on Jay-Z 94.5. It's one of the Mondays, Tuesdays he's experienced in a long time. So with that being said, man, give us some of that motivational Monday, your motivational minute, mental health minute on this fine Tuesday. It's always Tuesday for us with
Yeah.
Nightcap Knowledge, but some people they're a little discombobulated with after the holiday.
With this Tuesday, Monday, Monday,
Yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah,
Yeah,
Monday as
man.
Tuesday.
Look. Um, so it's a lot of different there's a lot of different things that we talk about for mental health. I guess I actually had what I wanted to talk about um, was different, and I guess I want to talk about more of our environment, right? Like our
Okay.
environment plays a major part on our emotional and physical well-being. Um, there are certain areas that speak to you, meaning that when you go, you just feel totally different. You can feel the energy, you can feel peace, you can feel relaxation, you can feel a lot of different things. So I always, I don't have a title for it yet, but I always say, creating that environment or finding that space. And the more we see that things happen, um, especially if we fighting different things like this tire fire and stuff in that nature, the more
Yeah.
you understand the importance of the environment. And I'm just talking about not just your neighborhood household, but just also the importance of trees and importance of greenery, and going back to early science and how all these things work together. But it also does something to you physically. Your body, you feel different. So finding that peace, finding that place, and when things happen, trying to get there, because your environment does help you feel different. So knowing that place when things happen, when Monday your Monday turn to a Tuesday, if you can't get there, at least try to create a picture in your mind, and try to imagine yourself trying to relax and being in that peaceful place, that place that brings about a positive energy inside of you. So connect with it. If you hadn't found it, then that's a good thing to look for. It might be something simple. Sometimes it's just as simple as going outside, being under the tree. But you finding your space of being able to connect with their environment, connect with Earth. Um, it's definitely something that's worthwhile. What's the groove, Chuck?
Hey man, I'm a piggyback on you. Of course, we've been celebrating the wedding anniversary, the anniversary of when Shalyn and I said I do. And yeah, I ain't got no buttons tonight because we're trying out some new equipment. I hope we'll get our applause and everything set up where we will be ready to go for next week. But I want to point this out. Sometimes that place might also be when certain people get together, and like you find that safe place, that safe space. So being able to hang out with certain people as we approach homecoming season, as we prepare for Tougaloo Alumni Weekend, we got some big announcements that um, we'll be publishing very very soon. And I just wanted to make sure that we tap in on what you're saying, Mac, about sometimes it's just going outside and finding that space where you can be comfortable. Sometimes it's about making sure you got the right people around you, and those people can help you recenter and find that North Star. And I want to give a shout out to my wife for always being a person that says she'll chin check me if necessary, not like violently, but give you that mental chin check, like hey, it's time for you to refocus and revisit what God put you here to be, who God put you here to be. So sometimes you got to go back to people that's going to tell you the truth, right? And that would be the groove, because we had a groovy good time. We talked, we told each other the truth this weekend, and we talked about some plans for the future, and made sure that we did it in a way that was true to us, and also where we're looking forward to who we're going to become in the next 10 years. So that's the groove. I hope you're looking forward to who you're going to be becoming in the next 10 years. Hope you're looking forward to who you're going to be tomorrow, because at the end of the day going to end, but every day is a blessing. See what it did there? You see what it did?
That was some of the realest shit that was said. You know what you're talking about, drunk ass speaker sober mind.
What about the sober me?
No, not you. I'm talking about when Glorilla said that. They said, "Would you?" They were asking her
at the end of the day gonna end.
At the end of the day gonna end, and that shit was profound. We like, you know what? She got a point. And then we start justifying, like, yeah, you know what?
Hey,
that ain't what she meant at the time, but we can take our spin. And
hey, look, if it ain't right, it's wrong.
Hey, at the end of the
Just
day,
saying.
they gonna end.
Yeah. Yeah, but look, shout out to our brother Marcus Banks checking
B&B.
in the comments, man. B&B Barbecue. We definitely appreciate that, brother, for always being here. And then also preparing for alumni weekend, high school day, and all of that, right?
Let me tell you about B&B. Let me tell you about this brother.
What you got to say,
This
man?
brother worked. This brother worked Saturday. He cooked, right? We did our day party. 2 soldiers, him and Mailman. Mailman made it work. When it was sprinkling, he didn't shut down. I'm talking about he figured out a way. We covered the speaker with a garbage bag, whatever we had to do, kept it going.
Yeah.
Marcus not only cooked and ran the whole rig by himself, but catered for 2 separate events at the same time in the rain.
That's called capacity. That's called capacity.
Where you at, Marcus? When as the old folks said, that boy wick, he was wick. Not just work, he wick.
Wick.
He wicking. He was wicking in the rain. He did 2 events. I mean, catered for 2 events at the same time. And sold out again in the rain this past Saturday. So B&B Barbecue doing some things.
He definitely is, man. He's stretching his legs. He's moving about, and making his business being one of those trusted brands and businesses in the city of Jackson and beyond. So look, shout out to B&B Barbecue. Maybe it's about time for him to start paying for some of this good advertising he get.
He gonna send you a rack of ribs down there, Chuck. a pan of chicken wings.
Yeah, we take that too. That's been just like money.
I know them boys like chicken wings though.
They do like chicken wings. They do like. We cooked some of that for Labor Day yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So look, Matt, we said we were going to continue on with our theme from last week, understanding American democracy. And I think you made a great point as we prepared for the show today. Really taking a look at, there's a lot of focus on presidential election, but there's not a lot of conversation, and we talked a bit about it last week as it relates to the Senate seat in Mississippi. There's a race between Ty Pinkins and Roger Wicker. But also, within the United States Congress, I mean, it's you got 2 branches, or 2, equal parts of that Congress. You got your senators and you've got your congressmen. So, I think your idea of us, taking it week by week, even if we just, jump into a segment or 2, as we have other guests that we'll be bringing on, but we definitely want to take time to talk through some of the what exactly does a congressman do, or what exactly does a senator do, what exactly does a county supervisor do, or a circuit clerk, or the secretary of state. Like taking those things and really just putting it in, and like you say, layman's terms, 3rd grade, on a level that everybody can understand, where we could say, if you had to say this to someone else, you have a set of talking points and also a website that we can point you to, so that you can help someone else understand what American democracy is, the offices that that make decisions regarding your everyday life. So how you want to get started with this?
Well, I was just thinking for you, things are maybe a little different, right? You have someone you can role play practice with and having this discussion to the point where they understand it. And I'm talking about, I'm talking about the boys, like you can have these conversations and being able to see if, and it's like, if I can get them to understand and grasp it, then I might have achieved the method that I'm trying to get for to be able to explain it to the general population. Not saying that it's certain thing about a certain level, but it's just certain things people are not into. And when you're not into it, it's something that you don't gravitate towards. You might not have the patience as much to listen to try to figure it out, unless you can directly connect to it and see how it directly connects to you.
Yeah.
So like what
Shout
I
out to
wish
Trina B in the comments too. Shout out to Trina B.
Trina B. So what I wish we would do, another part I just thought about was being able to go through the different things that you deal with in life and who's responsible for that, right? So we had this conversation before, like you mad and you cussing at your city government, or we just say Jackson. You mad at Jackson because you can't get there because the bridge is out on this particular highway that's in Jackson, but you're not understanding that they have interloper agreements, and that means that the city has to reach out to the state or the county, and they all had to get in and get this thing, and who's going to pay for what, how much, all this stuff has to happen. So you don't know that you should talk to Commissioner Wood Simmons, who is the person that's over transportation, because that way the bridges fall under that umbrella. So it's just so many different things that you do not know unless you went into that. Even when you go into certain fields, some of the stuff is not as like political science is so much focused on political theory, research, parties, different things of that nature. But how the local government actually works, like the duty and responsibility of the city council, the duty and responsibilities of the city manager. So we want to pull it back and just, that's another conversation where we can say what things that people are bothered by, problems that they see in their community, and then find out what person
I like that.
Responsible
so
for that.
Let me make sure I'm understanding you right. So you're saying like we gonna from maybe some Facebook research or problems that we know that are the usual suspects and the usual topic of conversation,
right?
We'll say, all right, this is the problem, and based on this problem, this is the office or the set of offices that one as a citizen should be contacting to address the issue.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
So
I like that. Come on. I'm gonna take this down and then we'll come back to it.
All right. So I'll give you an example. Grocery tax. Right?
Grocery tax.
Who's responsible for helping to regulate companies when it comes to taxing groceries, right? Well, then you learn that different states and different areas have different things on how they get their tax base, how they get their money from their tax base. Certain areas they increase the taxes. I think like Chicago, Illinois, if I'm not mistaken, increased the taxes on stuff like tobacco, alcohol. I think they got a sugar tax. But those things, well, I know there's a sugar tax. I'm trying to remember if it's Illinois or not. But knowing that the most important things, right? So a lot of things is high in sugar, high fructose corn syrup, also is not good for you. They get taxed more. You get taxed more for the things that are not as good for you. The basic necessities, greens, onions, fresh vegetables, things that you need to survive, it's at a lower rate. Now, if you choose but it good though, that expression that folks say, but it good though, then you got to pay like you wait.
Yeah,
that you
I,
would
I
like to
noticed something this summer when Shallon and the boys and I, along with DJ Nasty Show and his family, we were in California, and there was a fee if you used bags, or you needed bags. You didn't bring your own bags with you when you were shopping at the store. So if you needed a paper bag or a plastic bag or anything, there was going to be a charge associated with that. And I think there, for anything that came in like a glass bottle or a plastic bottle, it might have been some sort of assessment as it relates to, those particular products. But the bags, for sure, I know that you, on your receipt there was going to be a charge for the number of bags that you used to carry your groceries out that you had just paid for.
So
Yeah.
they have you seen, I know for us, we saw in movies, right? We hadn't seen a lot here, but they are bags that you purchase that are reusable bags, right? That you have the logo
Yeah.
on the store, right? That is to
Yeah.
encourage recycling and also to encourage, it's cheaper. So, because you constantly, for somebody that has a store that order bags, that's costly. But if you say, hey, I'm gonna save money by bringing my own bags, then you go ahead and buy your bag, make a one-time purchase, and and people make money. Different teams like PB football teams and stuff like that, soccer teams sell those different things like that as a fundraiser with their logos and sponsors on it, and people buy it, right? Because they are charging you for convenience. Speaking of convenience, I feel like Plies.
Okay, go ahead.
I feel like I'm having a Plies moment right now. Let me tell you what these dusty, crusty some bitches done in the city of Jackson.
Lord have mercy.
The damn dirty ass water that we already have is bad enough. Then shit happens. They have instituted, without asking anybody, a $40. I think it's I guess it's for us to get access. They just added to everybody.
Like a one-time fee?
No, every month. So if your bill was $60 a month, now your bill is $100 a month.
$40 about me a nice bottle of whiskey.
$40 a feed you. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, all right. So we'll say, especially for guys, right? You working, trying to get yourself together. You single. You know what I'm saying? You live in one bedroom or something. You like, I'm living off a loaf of bread, pack of turkey meat, blah blah blah. Right? I got my budget down. I know how much money I'm spending.
Right.
Or you got your small house, right? Now your water bill has went up. $40.
So you got a $40 assessment on top of your consumption.
Correct.
Average consumption, what, like $20 a month? 25 for like you said, an individual.
So average, I think our average water bill like one something
at the house.
But they added they right.
Okay.
So say for instance, if you didn't live in your house and you paying like $6 a month, because you just to have the water on, or $20. Now for a house that you don't live in, you're gonna pay $46 or $66 without justification. Now, how do you handle that? Because the Jackson Water was privatized.
Yes. So with it being privatized, the people that made the decision to privatize the water would be the people that are on the city council and the office of the mayor. No?
Legislature.
County supervisor? Legislature?
Nope. So what happened was, because of what happened with Jackson Water, they wanted a third party to come in.
So the legislature made the decision. So
this part of the Jackson takeover. CJ is familiar with it. He probably get a water bill too.
This is what they did in Detroit.
There you go.
All right.
Hey, so can you hear him?
I hear.
Okay. All right. So what really happened, man? If what happened in Detroit is what's happening in Jackson, and I'm not saying I don't, but if they've privatized or are attempting to privatize the water bill, we know that there was a consent decree with the Environmental Protection Agency that came in, and there's been a consent decree for a while, all the way back to when I was, working with the first Maryland Movers administration, and we were attempting to comply with that. But since that time, we've seen like a lot of the Jackson water crisis and all this thing that have occurred. We know that the legislature has neglected to give access to the funds that
the 1% sales tax.
What 1% sales tax funds? So what the state did when it came to the 1% sales tax? So full disclosure, I ran the campaign for the 1% sales tax fund. It was a referendum that got voted over 90%.
Right,
90% of the people voted for it. So we had overwhelming success as far as the support of it. But what the state then did was make it to where they were going to appoint people from various parts of the state to speak on their board. So Jackson was not getting the opportunity essentially to even legislate itself. They used what they did with they used what they did with creating a board to essentially be a pseudo government of Jackson in that process, and did the same thing with the capital city complex or whatever they call it now, right? Basically the CCID or whatever they call it.
Yeah, capital
City improvement plan.
Improvement plan where they built the justice system or a pseudo justice system where you got separate judges, separate police force, basically Jim Crow police force on top of a predominantly black city. You take that same thing and that same methodology that Mac is talking about, and now you privatize it, and now you giving your buddies the business, and so now they're profiting off of Jackson, and they're doing so based on what Mac is saying, through fees.
Yes,
through fees, and which is
and because it's
privatized, they offering you anything.
Yeah.
They ain't offering you anything different at this point in time.
Because it's privatized, you have no say so.
Right.
Like you can't tell me what to do with black with no chaser.
Right. This is so at that point, it's no longer the city is the water player.
No.
It's a private organization whose ultimate goal is profit, not prosperity of the people in the city. So that's a very, very, very interesting and concerning thing, man.
Here's what Jackson Water's website. A Mississippi water utility company run by interim third-party manager Ted Hennepin, who was authorized by a federal court order on November 29th, that's my mom's birthday, 2022, by United States District Judge Henry Wingate to reestablish water infrastructure operations and put the Jackson water system on a sustainable path.
Right. I remember when they appointed that when they did the Jackson water thing, that as a result of the water crisis that was occurring back in, it's been occurring 22. For a long time. But yeah, like in 22 when it got so bad that it became national news.
Yeah.
And I think that that's when the EPA said, okay, we're gonna have such and such take over this this water treatment facility. Yeah. But the thing of it is that we understand that even at that time and even now, I think there's about $400 million that was allocated to the state of Mississippi or to the city of Jackson.
Allocated from federal funds,
from federal funds and programs, and they haven't been able to access that money. Is that correct, Matt?
Now, I don't know if that much details. I know there's a lot of pushback, and there are other legal things that are going on. But in the midst of all these legal things that are happening with Jackson Water, now remember, I was just out in the community passing out water to a senior citizen complex because Jackson Water decided they were cutting folks' water off in these apartment complexes because the apartment complex wasn't paying the bill, but they can't get in contact with them. But that first apartment complex, Garden Side off of Northside Drive, they didn't even alert the folks and let them know that they were cutting water off. They just cut the water off due for non-payment. So again, when you don't have folks that are connected to the community and understanding their investment is not in the community, is what they can get from the community. So that the issue. So here we go back to this conversation. It's a third party. How and who do you contact to hold that third party accountable? That's an elected official. Who umbrella does that fall under? Right. So that's when we talk about these issues, and we're gonna dive into the rest of the conversation. But that's a major issue for the city of Jackson. Who do we reach out to?
I pulled up an article. Mac, I pulled up an article back from 2022 where Tate Reeves basically claimed that that the state of Mississippi gave Jackson $200 million for infrastructure. But the reality is that they did not. As you stated before, Jackson generated its own revenue in the form of the 1% sales tax to get money. There's federal government funds. According to this report, man, that's a good article. I mean, essentially, like the state is grossly overstating what it has allocated for Jackson, and is misrepresenting funds that it hasn't given. But like $200 million have not come out of the state of Mississippi bank account on Jackson's behalf for anything, let alone for infrastructure.
So what they talk about, like the money that the pumps, because we know we had to get emergency pumps, we had to redo the water system, and all that stuff is very expensive. But I remember, I don't know if you guys remember the joke about when the governor was down in USM and said, well, let me go put my hat on. Not only you got to, be the public works director, but you got to, do the job for the city. But it goes back again to prevention. You sat in a seat that could have helped prevent a lot of this from happening by using what they call rainy day funds and using the 1% sales tax appropriately, right? Because you are in the same city. The capital is inside of the city of Jackson. And I'm telling anybody, and y'all can just dislike me if I was the mayor or anybody else. If I had to be here, downtown would be the place you want to be. Because I'm going to make sure that shit is taken care of. Because that's the area that brings the most people to spend money from the Coliseum all the way up to Woodrow Wilson to the stadium. So you should invest money
attraction
and use the money of investment to take care of the rest of the areas. But when you neglect to try to invest to improve the area where you populate the most, then you let that that's a plan to show failure. And by showing failure, that's make you look like you the savior when you come in. Now, here's how this axe cut. This is a double-sided axe. A lot of our local folks ain't done a good job of proving folks wrong by arguing over dumb shit.
Or informing.
Arguing over dumb shit, staying in. And so what I'm saying is, when we don't understand the community, who's in charge and who's responsible, because we don't know, because we're not being told. But it's a difference when you say, I ain't got no control over that. That's out of my capacity. But the things I do have control over, 100%, this is what it looks like. So when I'm just saying this, right? When 1020 was out there, and we have folks advocating trying to stop 1020, our local administration was arguing over garbage contract, right? So we are owed money as citizens because we went 2 months without garbage pickup. What the inconvenience that we went through financially to be able to get rid of our garbage in 2024, where a whole man can put on a whole goddamn suit and fly, like literally. In 2024, we are arguing about goddamn garbage pickup. The simplest shit that we should be able to discuss among each other and come up with an answer. So it makes it easy for folks to play political games and take over and move legislation, because they can just say, look, the people voted y'all, they voted a no confidence. Easy, just they can interview a few people and they'll get that information. And here's why. Bam, 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 bam. So when we start talking about controlling who creates the laws, policies, and things you want to see on the city level, is it going to be your board of aldermen, or is it going to be the city council?
Mm-hmm.
On your county level, it's going to be your supervisors, right?
Right.
And on the state level, it's going to be your Mississippi state legislatures, House and Senate. And then you go on up to your congressional level, the federal level,
Mm-hmm.
which is congressional and Congress and Senate, right? They bring forth the information that's supposed to be relevant to us, stuff that's going to benefit the constituents community that we want to see, that we need to become law, and we need to be not only become law, we need it to be actually executed, that we can see the benefits from now this being a law. That's what we need. So that goes, we start talking about who enforces what. EPA also said that this tire fire that's been burning for almost 3 weeks with smoke that covered all across the interstate,
Mm-hmm.
black smoke, like the same color as this microphone, that it was within the legal amount of toxins in the air. But look at the area where it's at. A legal amount. This is the it's
So
a
we're talking
legal
about
amount.
tires. Talking about burning rubber.
Thousands of tires on fire.
And it's so what's
it's
the legal amount? That's the question I got.
So that's the question, right? One, what are you using to measure? Two, what's the legal amount, and what was the amount that you measured it at? And is it a consistent measurement?
And what is the level before that? Because before and after is two different things.
So those are questions we got from the EPA. But again, who did we just say that were one of the deciding factors in how this happened with the water crisis? It was who? CJ? EPA.
Right.
So when you start looking at your issues you have, then you go back to find out who's in charge and who's responsible. So what political official is in charge, or the EP that oversees the EPA?
Mhm.
Who is that person?
Well, hell, now.
So then we go back.
Yeah.
I'm about to say now. Look, we don't know who.
Yeah.
EPA can't tell nobody nothing.
Yeah, because of the Chevron ruling in
Yeah.
the Supreme Court. So, yeah, it's definitely very, very convoluted when you talk about the way that the systems are run, and when you talk about even how local government struggles, how local government has struggled at the city level when it came to things like the trash. Arguing over the trash and who's gonna be the one picking up the trash. You got to think about the fact that in Congress, when in Congress, what was that, last year, when they were trying to decide on the Speaker of the House, they had 14 votes.
Oh, yeah.
It lasted three or 4 weeks before they could actually even elect a Speaker of the House, and then try to fire him.
Playing politics. That's playing politics right there, man. Like we're not looking at doing things in the spirit of efficiency and for the betterment of the people. Mm-hmm. Like it was literally that was
conservatives. That was the conservatives that were running Congress, that are running Congress.
Yes,
at this time. So like the stagnation and the ridiculousness of politics definitely it runs the range. Is because I often sometimes hear people saying we need to get some non-melanated people in there, and like that's one of the things that's a problem to me when people say that, like, because it's go ahead.
You know why they say that, right?
Oh yeah,
you know why they say that?
I know why they say it.
Why they say it?
So what's going to happen is, if you get a white person, all right, white man, white woman, whoever the hell it is becoming the mayor of Jackson, automatically things are going to turn around.
The state going to start giving it the money.
State going to support, give it the money. Culturally, it's going to do it, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing that Plies broke down. Plies said you wanted this woman to explain to you, and she got to tell you and explain to you why you should vote for her. But you ain't asked this old ass man right here that's fading and changing colors in front of your goddamn eyes. You didn't ask him shit.
Right.
But here's the thing about it. Our society shows that we have no voice and no power to a degree of this man got immunity going forward to do anything he want to do.
Immunity.
The same
Right.
people that stand up and hold their hands when over that flag and say it, and they understand why folks are upset. This same man broke the law, the founding law about
Right.
leading treason against your own country
Multiple
while you are
indictments.
in office as president. Right?
Yeah.
You did what they didn't do in the Civil War.
Yeah.
That's what you did. But
Attempted
you are
to
still
overthrow the government.
But that,
But
I
you
mean,
still
that,
free.
Hostile takeover.
that's the essence of the Confederacy.
Right. Like, I mean,
So that's what I'm saying. So when people say that we need to put this person in place because these people have shown you that they can do what they want to do and nothing happens to them, right? They can go ahead and move stuff forward and they make things happen because they benefit. See, there's a lot of people that just want to be able to just benefit. But when you start talking about basic necessities, then people started looking at, everybody that when slavery ended, they didn't leave the plantation.
Yeah. Let me turn these reactions off.
I have no idea.
CJ over here giving thumbs up and it's popping up on the
I
screen.
don't remember doing my thumbs.
But,
maybe it was my thumbs just in the picture.
That's a good time for us to take a break, Mac. I didn't want to jump in while you were making your
Go ahead.
Your read, but we definitely got to give a shout out. Join us at Money Moves, a real talk conversation on investing and financial literacy for Black entrepreneurs during the Congressional Black Caucus's 53rd annual legislative conference. It's more than a panel discussion. It's your chance to connect, learn, and network with industry leaders. This is a must-attend event brought to you by Bob Technologies, Invesco QQQ, and Black with No Chaser. Don't miss out on making some serious money moves. So, man, we were talking. Look, we're talking about folks. They making money moves on us, but it's like the only time that money moves is when a person that is of a particular hue is inside of one of our elected official positions. So
I don't know what that mean. What that mean?
He's saying a lot of people believe that only the white can access the funds, or can make the moves that are necessary for us to see progress. I think that's a problematic way of thinking. But in the state of Mississippi, I can understand, as you pointed out, Mac, why people would tend to believe that that's the case. The reality is that the state of Mississippi, through its legislature, has attempted intentionally to stifle the city of Jackson, which is the blackest or second blackest city in the country, depending on the year, between itself and Detroit, Michigan. So it's no coincidence that the same strategy and tactics that were utilized to take Detroit are some of the similar strategies that are being utilized here in Mississippi, in a damn near indistinguishable way. And we're seeing this. We're seeing this happen this way, and we're seeing people, basically bolster the idea of non-black people running a majority black city, and people who are not, who we know don't have our interests at heart, running the city. I think that. Go ahead, because I know what. Go ahead, because I know what you want to say. You want to say them motherfuckers ain't got our interests at heart neither.
Correct.
I know that, yeah.
all kinfolk ain't your kinfolk.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's an issue.
No, it is an issue. It absolutely is an issue when folks aren't really holding you down or are in fact holding you back. The thing that I know for sure is that they've been playing this game for a long time, man. And by they, I'm talking about them. The them that if I say, if I say them, you know,
I don't know.
Facebook will or YouTube will give me a community strike. So
What's
the
that?
white. So
Can we say
I
colonizers?
didn't know that. So you can't
didn't
say
know
that about
that?
white folk? No.
what? Come on now, dog. But
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
straight up though. Boy, they get you about the paint so quick. But yeah, man, no, seriously. Like the thing that I'll say is us, you know, attributing power to them, attributing the idea that progress can only flow through them is a dangerous way of thinking. And yeah, go ahead.
I understand, and I guess the thing what I'm saying is, it's what you put in front of us as an example to show us. So when we start looking around, right, what is an example of how things should go? Right, it's like, yeah, you're saying that only the power has to go through access to capital, right? Access to funds to be able to start.
They're only gonna let you access capital because they're gonna say we don't want these Negroes touching these dollars.
Well, we already know, right? Things change, so it ain't no speculation, ain't none of this, right? We know that there were two investment firms, and 21 when all these folks believed that these people weren't going to work because they was getting those checks. Well, some folks,
who is Anthony Moore? What the fuck is he talking about, dog?
I don't know. I just saw the comment pop up.
I'm sorry, dog.
Hey, man. Listen, tell you something about me. My grandmother had the power of ignorance, and I inherited a lot of that. I know I can see you right.
I'm sorry, dog. I saw that, and I'm like, bro, like, I'm pretty sure I don't think we said anything about either political party directly.
CJ, you're doing exactly what someone wants.
Okay, my bad.
Ain't nobody call your name, don't answer. All right.
Go ahead,
motherfucker.
Man.
She did call my name, don't answer.
I just want to let that motherfucker know.
It
can get real quick in this motherfucker, dog. You talking about plies, nigga?
Don't never let nobody. Hey, what Coach Prime said: keep the main thing.
The main thing.
For sure.
Don't let folks distract you. But once people find out they can distract you or deter you, they're gonna keep doing it.
For sure, man. You right.
So you ignore the shit, keep riding. Now, what I was saying was about access to capital, about access to power, about access to funds. You know, we talk about different things, right? But we can do a lot of stuff ourselves. It's about having a game plan, because we always said, well, what no one is going to let. No, this country was taken. This country was forced. A lot of things. Nothing happened because, you know, folks just decided they're going to just do it for you because, right? You are fighting. Right. Remember I talk about the hog versus lion mentality. So you got to be a lion, regardless. If it's your own pride, you might have to kick their ass, or you fighting a hyena. So if the people look like you and not doing right by you, you got to keep the same pressure on them to make them do what they're supposed to do, and not give you bullshit ass
accountability to everybody. I think that's where we agree. Like, I mean, we agree on a lot, but definitely you have to hold everybody accountable. And I think that's what Plies was saying when he was like, bro, you're not asking
keep the same energy.
You ain't asking Orange Dude this question. You ain't asking Trump this shit. Like, why are you not asking him the very same questions that you're asking Kamala? And I agree. Like, I think there should be a standard that no matter who it is in front of us, should have to uphold when it comes to us.
Right.
And I think that I think ultimately that's what I'm saying. I don't think that means we got this black person to do it. They not doing it the way we want them to do it. We need to now go get a white person to do it. Like, I don't think that's the solution.
That is not a viable solution. It's not a real way of thinking.
Yeah, not to run a black city and not to have a city that's got majority black people in it, best interest at heart. But I agree with you that it's going to require people who care more about people than they care about politics. They care about the image that's associated with politics.
That is the, like, if you're saying prerequisite and you wanna know somebody that I can roll with, there is a prerequisite for you to care about your neighbor.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna keep it a buck, I'm gonna take it to church. You're gonna keep it a buck. If you do not care about your neighbor, then you can't call yourself a Christian.
Yeah.
Or you can't say that you believe in the quote unquote the Bible or your grandmother's religion and all of that. The thing that I know is that if you're not willing to, if an accident happens and you don't even stop to check on that person, you're not who you say you are.
Right.
You're not a person that cares about community or cares about creating space where people can learn and understand the humanity that unites us. You're a part of a group of people that are going to be the thing that prevents us from moving forward and stagnates humanity from achieving its true self.
I think that's excellent point, Chuck. I mean, if you really think about it, bro, and I'm just gonna keep it all the way funky. I think it's really dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous for us as Black folk in America, period. You know what I mean? Like, we understand that. We understand that this is a two-party country.
Yeah.
Whether we want to believe that or not.
Yeah.
Whether we
a flawed two-party system.
Right. Until there's actual action that is consistently taken over a period of time to truly develop alternatives to those two parties, that's what's going to exist. I mean, you're going to have multiple parties at local levels. You can't just have a person running for president in a third party. You got to have people running in local campaign,
right?
Running for the school board, running for local election,
right?
Running for public commissioner, and running for all of these things in order to have that. But beyond that, I think it's extremely dangerous for Black folk to see and identify alignment with the same with any party that would embolden the delusion of white supremacy or the delusion of white supremacists. 100%. And so I think that's something that is really, really important to say when it comes to why we should be so far removed, particularly us here in Mississippi, from conservatism and from a party that does embolden and has consistently aligned itself with the delusion of white supremacy, at least for the last 20 years or more.
Well beyond last 20 years, for sure. But just look at the track record. Let's do that. If we look at the track record for a Mississippi led state, right? Let's look at the track record.
Been conservative.
It's been conservative, super majority for I don't know how many years, right? So if I get to Mississippi in 1999, coming from Alabama, another conservatively led or controlled state, and these particular places have not seen any growth or improvement in, just say across the board, education.
Right. Education been one of the last in education. They even though they try to feign or fake the numbers these days. Right. Last in education, last in healthcare, last in poverty. Like consistently, like since we've been, you know what I mean? Like since we've been children, these things have been consistently true. And then you have to begin to ask yourself, what the fuck are you trying to conserve in the state of Mississippi? What?
Let's do something different.
Right. Why are we not trying to see progress in this state? Why are we not trying to be strategic about actually advancing and moving the state, moving all of the people, not just those at the top? Why is it that we can snatch up people who maybe shoplift, but motherfuckers who stole $70 million still sitting pretty?
Come on.
Stole 70 million from poor people.
From poor people, and also misappropriated funds at the IHL level.
So these are things that we have to ask ourselves, like, what are you conserving in the state of Mississippi if your cause is to be if your cause is a conservative one? What are you trying to hold on to in the state of Mississippi?
Fair question.
Fair question. that needs conserving. when it's very, very clear.
And we cutting trees every day.
Yeah, advancement is what we need here, dog.
We cutting trees every day. We ain't conserving no trees.
So what they're doing is holding on to a ideology and a way of life that's been pushed to believe that if the black folks and minorities continue to do good or have access, then that means they're going to do bad. That their heritage that they have for us the access to be able to have access to capital, education, just like you had folks from the legislature that went to other predominantly white conservative counties in the state telling folks that if they fully fund the education doing Initiative 42, that means they're going to take they're going to take some of the money from the good schools and put it in the bad schools down in Hines County,
which was misinformation.
Now this will go across the board because there are poor white schools in the state of Mississippi just like it is poor black, but the narrative that they pushed was all thing they could see was their child.
It was the motivating information.
Top-rated school, and that they're going to pull money out of their school and put it in a school where these folks are doing everything at, and that's what they. But that's something that's been happening forever,
and that's what black leaders was going to have access to the dollars, Mac. Let's be keeping. That's what they were saying.
And black judges will be able to make the decisions. That's what they were talking about. And
how they call them Jackson. What they call them Hines County judges is what they call them.
Yeah,
but we know that's coded language for black judges.
What? So here's what. Here's where I talk about the double-edged sword, and looking at things that I know, and some of y'all might know, of incidents that continue to happen in our areas where we have 100% control over. Right. So now it makes the narrative look to be true because you
can't try to do the shit that you're right, Mac. What you're saying is you can't try to do the shit that they get away with.
And when you got control over this little piece right here, and I don't see nothing change and nothing benefit. I don't see nothing looks different. And then be like, well, they did this to me. But okay, well, that's fine, right? But what about this? I think I talk about dumping right here in the city of Jackson and across the state, period. I said, think about African villages where someone got a straw broom and they sweeping a dirt floor. It don't matter how much space they got. They're trying to take care of and keep it clean. So we start talking about our local government and county government. What things can we point to say we have 100% improved on this? It goes back to, again, playing the narrative. You're playing right into the hands of the folks that say that you don't have the capacity to govern and don't know how to use funds. And then as soon as someone trips or make whatever happens, that's what you poster, right? To make everybody believe, well, you know what? They've been telling the truth all these years. Even though folks was on the fence, they may not have believed them. Now they've been telling the truth all these years. Right. Now, what you don't push out there is, and so that's what I keep telling you, the hog versus lion mentality. Right. The hogs say, once we go in and elect whoever it is, you can sit back and put your feet up and lay up and
be happy and slop.
No, because again, when we start talking about the city council has to work with the mayor. So if you don't believe it, if you believe this administration that we have from our mayor to our 7 city council people are not getting the job done, the only way you can really see progress is you're going to have to flip everything. Who have you identified 4 years ago or 2 years ago that's going to be able to work together as a unit? Because again, even if multiple people run, you still got multiple people with different agendas, with different support groups and different funders that are coming together. Now you still don't have nothing no different, right? So you got to put together a pack. Same way on the supervisor board, right? But goes back again when you come to state and federal, that the state and federal got to have a plan because they create the legislation for the governor, right? Now that governor has a capacity of executive power just like the president do to a certain degree, but it comes from your legislative body. What is the plan of action? Well, what 1020 also shown was we don't even have to consult your legislative body that represents you. We can just skip by them, united everybody else, and we outvoted you. So it wasn't a Hines County Jackson issue. They made it a state issue and outvoted you and passed legislation that may not be in your constituents' best interest. But here's how the flip side works.
Yeah.
The flip side work is what can we point to again and say, this is what we got done, this is what we're taking care of, and
Right.
how do we move forward? So again, the question is, how do we change the narrative? How do we change the status quo? What things can we do? What are the steps that we can take as ordinary citizens to be able to bring about the change we want to see? If you ask some
Mhm.
people, what's the top 5 things you want to see change in your city? What are the top 5s? Now, how can that happen? And are you willing to do what you need to do to champion those top 5? Then
Mhm.
people are going to tell you all the reasons why they can't do it. But other groups will find ways and times to be able to meet to get their plan across, to at least try to see it happen. And so what I'm
Right.
saying is, for us, we already know we don't need to talk about what's fair, what's not equal, what's not equity. We already know this. But understood, don't have to be explained. The question is, what is
Right.
the plan and what are we going to do? If we
Yeah.
hold a freedom school on a Saturday, will you get up and bring your child there to be there from 10 to 2 to learn about all the stuff that we're talking about? Or you gonna
If
keep
your
saying
neighbor
no?
need a ride to the polls, are you willing to take your neighbor to the polls? And speaking of that, roll
There
to
you
the
go.
pros, drivers are needed. Here's what we need from you. We need you to have a valid driver's license. We need you to be at least 22 years old, have a safe driving record, a smartphone with GPS, pledge to wear nonpartisan merchandise, making sure you're not advocating for one party versus the other or one candidate versus the other. And then you've got to be a Mississippi resident. And a plus would be if you are ride share or food delivery experienced, that would be absolutely great. You can visit online at msmove.org, click on volunteer to sign up, and we will get you plugged in. That's at least one thing you can do.
Yes, man. I think you're asking the right question, Matt, and I think this is the right type of conversation to be having. Uh, I definitely think that politics as a whole, from a local level to a state level to a federal level, has become, it's always been a tug of war, but it's much more of a tug of war now, where uh, actually creating and crafting good policy is getting pushed to the back, rather than you know to the forefront.
The only policies that are promoted are those that come out of organizations and quote unquote nonprofits like ALEC.
Yeah, exactly like ALEC. And I mean, they're creating, hyper conservative model policy throughout the country, running it through the states usually,
right,
and
through the court system,
right, running it through the states and running it up through the Supreme Court. And they use Mississippi as a lab rat a lot of times for that. They'll use other places, like places in the Midwest, like Ohio, as a lab rat to basically test those things out, push them, and then have them be spread nationally. And so we have to think about, like, what does good policy look like? Instead of us waiting on those who have been elected to create the policy, I think we have to bring the policy to them. I think I'm not saying that policy is our only way of moving or advancing, but I think we got to write it ourselves. We got to craft it ourselves and identify the people who we can align ourselves with that can then push those things that we want. Because I think you speak the truth when you say, Mac, that the everyday citizen, the everyday people are the people that know what we really need. And perhaps it's a fallacy for us to like wait or rely on the leadership to lead in that way. Maybe we take it out of their hands and just tell them, hey, run with this. We've created the policy.
Yeah.
Verdant Edition is with this. You know what I'm saying? So let's push this type stuff.
But every person elected is supposed to came from the community, right? Everybody that's elected, they're supposed to came from the community. So when you're saying that we need to get a person from the community, like, well, where did you look from? Right. So it still goes back to us identifying who we want to represent us and have those conversations, and then what's a plan. So if you're looking at someone that does not have a political title, and what kind of thing they were able to do. So again, back in the day, right, we're talking about during the Western days, right? They had folks that had ranches and businesses who they had used for elected officials because they had a shown true track record of how to run a business or create a
Yeah.
business, right? They can
And
show you.
sustain.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like for us, right? What we just talked about, other cultures, Asian culture, Asians ain't always had it easy in America, right? But they have created a system where they don't care about who some of the elected officials are because they have businesses, they have community, they have things that sustain them regardless of what legislation come down the pipeline. Those are some of the same tactics we have to have, majority of that, to create that safeguard. But also we got to start with our local officials, the ones we can walk up and touch, to create legislation on the local level. To be like, well, this new federal legislation that came out. Well, that's fine because on the city, state, and county level, I have this to support me, and this is how I got it because I was able to come up with the documentation. I have a proven track record. I have this model. I brought it to them. They adopted it. We invest and move on. Well, the problem what I keep saying is, so the only way we can say it is, truthfully, is we keep it in true nightcap fashion. We keep making it easy, and I'm talking about black folks in elected positions, for the folks that, for the other folks that conservative whites or whatever you want to call them, to come in and take over things because we don't have a system in place of unity and support for each other and an orchestrated plan that prove that this is how it's working. It's hard to disprove statistics when you can say this has improved by this much in the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, you got record keeping that can reflect the actual level of
declines, regardless if somebody's sabotaging or not. So right now we fighting with the EPA and environmental because we are at a point now where it's a hazard. Jackson is a huge dump site. I'm talking about they arrested some guys from another county the other day, from Texas. Actually, they arrested some guys from Texas that was dumping, and they just turning down a side street where they don't see nobody and dumping. They dumping right there behind me. Like they throw stuff out and don't even put it in the dumpster. So you gotta, when you have a group of folks that, when I say don't care, meaning that it's about me, make sure I'm good, not make sure that my community and my people are good, then they make decisions like that, and then it affects all of us because now everybody else is believing that somebody else is gonna clean it up. Somebody else is gonna take care of it.
Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming.
And nobody never takes care of it, right? Nobody never do anything. So we have to do it. But going back to what we started the conversation about, our legislature and understanding the capacity of the city council, understanding the capacity of the supervisor. The supervisor is one of the things we talked about and the commissioner Stamps talked about. If you want to change the dynamics in the state, then we need to have a stronger supervisor board around the state, because the supervisor is one of those positions that can point and say, we're going to fix this. They have budgets, right. Each one of the different districts. They vote on large things as a whole, but they have the capacity to do a whole lot of things as a supervisor. Even with the state legislature, they still got to come together and move legislation as a whole before they can do that.
Right.
The supervisor board make the decision right then, and they go to work. That's the difference. There are positions around here in the state that we don't know about. They are able to control some of the things that you have no idea that affects you on a day-to-day basis. Those are the things we got to educate folks about, and who do that person answer to, and how
right,
you are.
I got an idea, Mac. Hold on. We're going to continue with understanding democracy, right? Understanding American democracy. So would you recommend that next week we talk about county supervisors and break them down and maybe get a supervisor on to chop it up with us? I'm pretty sure we can make that happen.
Yeah, I think that could happen. That would be a good show. Because they don't get talked about a lot.
They don't.
And they don't get held as accountable as often as those who are city leaders or those who may be state leaders. I still think state leaders could be held more accountable, but yeah, that would be good.
That's the goal for next week. get us a couple of supervisors on to chop it up about the things that they are directly responsible for, things that they have oversight on. And look, I'm gonna say this, we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, for making sure that I know y'all gonna go and click that volunteer button so we can drive more people to the polls on election day. If you're going to be in DC for the annual legislative conference of the Congressional Black Caucus, make sure you tap in with us for this wonderful event. And for any and everybody that left a comment to any of the platforms that we're broadcasting on, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or what have you, we appreciate you for doing so. Yeah. We appreciate the dialogue, and make sure you subscribe, share this with somebody, because at the end of the day, it's gonna help us get to where the money resides. At the end of the day.
Wait.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're gonna tap in once again this coming Tuesday and every Tuesday. Understanding American Democracy, continuing the series for Election Day. George Strutt, Mr. Mac, DJ, we in this thing, Nightcap Knowledge, live on Black Up No Chaser.